Tuesday, it's war day. Woohoo! How is everyone? Today I'm going to talk about something kind of cool, painting away your pain. This is a healing technique that I used for myself and I found it very helpful. So, you want to see my cool pants I'm wearing? My girlfriend gave me these. Can't really see them, but they're my these are cool, fun house pants, my tie dyes from Autumn. Thank you. Mm. So, today we're going to talk about a technique that can be really helpful. Hey, Mike, nice to see you. This is a technique that I learned from a coach of mine, from Lyra, and I used it some years ago and I found it really helpful. I'm actually just going through right now and editing up a document that I wrote a couple years ago called Tools for Happiness. And in it, I'm writing about different tools that I used. One of them was quitting alcohol, and I describe how I did it. And but the interesting thing about like when I quit alcohol is that I kind of substituted other things for that, right? Because why was I drinking in the first place, or using other techniques to numb Netflix videos, whatever, it doesn't matter, to numb the pain, was because I had core wounds or pains inside that I hadn't healed yet. So actually going through a process or a ritual or something to heal those internal pains uh, shifted that for me, and also shifted the need for what I had switched to, which was sugar. So I want to talk about the process that I used for this. This is one of the processes. And I described the other one, right? The healing release process, just that 12-step process that you take yourself through. It's in my book. So and it's in that book, the I Own Me book, right, which is very helpful. But this is another one that I use, and I want to kind of get into it in a little bit of detail for you to show you what it was like and how it helped. So one of the techniques, and I'm guessing this is not an uncommon technique, right? But this is one that really made a difference for me, is to paint your pain. To paint your pain, and then you wash it off and you let it flow away. So my coach had talked to me about this, right? She says if you've experienced abuse or attack or other kinds of things, it can be really helpful to do this as an exercise, because you're speaking both to your mind and your body about what you're doing right then, right? It's like a ritual. Rituals are very healing. And so she told me about this. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll try it, right? And now, if you're a more artistic person than I am, you could actually paint a picture of yourself and then paint it on. But believe me, my artistic capabilities extend finger paints. So that's what I did. I went and bought those little pots of finger paints at like a Walgreens, the non-toxic children's version that is water soluble. And I set aside some time. I went to I set aside some time in the bathroom. I lit some candles. I filled up the tub with water. I took the paint and I dipped my fingers into those pots, and on my naked body, right, as undressed, I began to paint on my naked body the pain that I felt, right? And or the not that I felt, but like the different places, different ways in which I had been abused or suffered, right? Whether that was my heart or my stomach, or my back, or my sexuality, right? All the different ways that I had been attacked, I began to paint those things onto my body. The kind of the visualization of those wounds, right? And um, and it's a very intuitive process. It's like when you're in it, when you're in the moment, it'll just come to you, like what color you dip your hand in and what pattern that might be, right? And it just comes to you as you do it. It's not something you're conscious, you're thinking about, right? You just, whatever feels right in that moment, you just do that. And I remember as I was painting, one of the things that I painted was like a big black hole right here, um, where like right here, like in that diaphragm stomach area. And um, it was just like a big round black place where that black hole was of kind of emptiness, right? A core wound there that was hurting me. And that might have come from abandonment or whatever else. But that core wound is the one that we are always trying to fill, right? What is that hole, that black hole that we're always trying to fill by staying busy, by eating, by drinking, right? We're trying to fill that emotional wound, that emotional hole. And that hole it's endless, right? When it comes from a wound, you can never fill it. It's like a black hole, right? No matter what you dump into it, it's always going to be there until you heal it. And so anyway, I painted this on me, right? I was like, wow, okay, that's something that's a part of me, all right. And then, looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing visually all of these wounds that, we don't normally see on ourselves, right? Because they're usually buried, they're in our subconscious, but actually being able to see them, see the wounds for myself visually on my body, right? And then I did a ritual where I had prepared the bath with like some oils and stuff like that. And I got in the bath, and it just, to me, right, I did what felt right to me at that time. So I dipped my body 7 times in the bath, like completely submerged myself, because I had painted on my face and stuff as well. Completely submerged myself under the water 7 times. And when I came out, my body was clean. It was clear. It was clean. All of those wounds and pains and stuff had all washed away, right? And I was giving that over, saying a prayer for healing, for releasing, for whatever that is. And when I came out of that, I was like, oh, wow, that was really cool. That was a beautiful experience, but it wasn't like I was like, oh, I saw the light or anything, huge. I just thought, oh, wow, that was a really beautiful experience. And then I remember a few weeks later, I stepped on the scale and I was like, I'm losing some weight, which is a good thing. And I noticed that I had lost a few pounds, and I was like, this is, how did this happen? I totally hadn't been paying attention at all. And then I thought back over the last couple of weeks, and I realized that I wasn't eating as much as I normally did. I would eat something and then I would just stop naturally. I didn't feel like I had to finish everything on my plate. I wasn't stuffing myself, right? And it was just like, I hadn't realized what had shifted in me, but something had shifted because my behavior had shifted, right? So in doing that, I consciously told myself and my body to heal those wounds, that hole, that black hole. And of course, I also did other exercises, right? Healing exercises, right? But healing comes in layers. It comes in patterns. So I noticed that I wasn't trying to fill that hole anymore. My appetite had shifted to something more healthy and more normal, because that wound, I had healed that wound, right? And now, of course, if we don't continue to do our work, we can always shift back, right, into old patterns and behaviors. But to me, this was just a beautiful experience and illustration of how that, I guess you could call it like a healing ritual, impacted my psychology subconsciously and actually shifted my behavior. And it just let me know like how powerful and how strong these types of exercises and healing exercises are when we go into them with this intention, with the intention to heal and to be better and to release all of that stuff. So I wanted to share that with you in a little bit more detail, and just kind of express to you. And the poem that I read that was at the back of that book, I read that the last time, right? That was kind of hearkening back to that experience of that black hole that we have when we are wounded, that we try to fill with all of these things. But really, the only thing we can do is to heal it, right? And healing it comes not just from doing like that painting exercises was one of the exercises I did, but I also did the healing release process, which is a very powerful psychological step-by-step process. So that, I just wanted to give that to you, share that with you in case that is something that can be helpful for you. It's actually a lot of fun to do as well. It's kind of playful and fun, and beautiful. And doesn't matter how old you are or who you are, you can still do that. We've all experienced pain. We've all experienced attack. We've all experienced, wounds to our heart, heartbreak, relationships, people attacking us in different ways, or just our own feelings of inadequacy, whatever that is, right? And so this can be a beautiful healing process that you can use for yourself to kind of visually express to your body and to your subconscious and to your psychology that yes, you recognize all of these wounds that have happened to you. You see them, and now you are washing them away and releasing them and letting them go. So I wanted to share that as a useful tip. Tell me if you try it. I want to hear about it. I want to hear how it goes. I want to hear what your response is and what the impact is on you, right? Because, like I said, I didn't notice the impact until weeks later. And that's the really cool thing. When you do a healing process that works, and that's why I talk about the healing release process, because when I did that healing release process, like stuff would happen right away within 24 hours that would have triggered that response, and it was gone. My behavior shifted, my emotion shifted. I just didn't do that. And that's how I knew it worked, right? When we heal, when something works, it actually shifts us on an internal subconscious level, and it changes our behavior. That's how we know that healing has occurred. So I can share with you what has worked for me, and hopefully you find that useful too. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and that you seek your own healing, because believe me, on the other side, it is a beautiful place. Have a great day, and I will talk